This series is intended for mature audiences. We insist you heed the following content warnings before viewing. Horror themes, language, adult themes, and strong violence and gore, including gun violence. Welcome to the Weird West. Let us tell y'all a story.
Matthias and Willie, you diving into the cabin here, you hear bullets just slamming against the metal. You hear the gunfire and you hear the bullets just pinging against the metal as they're firing towards where they saw you enter. The other two, you have almost total cover. You are ducked down by this thing. Total cover from where they're standing, but you see two of them sprinting to kind of veer off to get a better view of you. As they're sprinting over, you see one of them pull out what looks like a carbine of some sort, some nice shiny rifle, and they both of them pull it out and begin firing at you. I'm gonna say they're doing this as they're moving. They're gonna have a -4 penalty to this. As they're firing, you feel the bullets spray, like they're just slamming up on the metal above you, the metal of the train. They don't even really get close as they are sprinting to get a better view. So two of them are now in view of Caleb and Jonah and Luther, and as they stop, you see one of them drop to one knee to try to kind of make their target basically a little smaller. One drops to one knee, the other one you see brings the gun up to have a better aim, and they are just trained on you. You see a third person sprinting around. They seem to be a little bit further back, and they are currently digging in some sort of a satchel. And you're unable to see anyone else, but you just hear guns firing. That is their turn, and up next we have Luther.
So there's one rifle guy, and then another guy with him. Is that what?
Yeah, they both have rifles.
Okay, and then there's satchel guy.
Behind them.
Okay, I turn to Jonah and I say, I got satchel and one of the riflemen, and I have my two pistols, and I'm gonna shoot one each.
All right,
so let's give this a shot. I got two gun kids, so I can shoot both of them without a penalty.
Go.
Here we go. Pow. That is a 9 on one, and a 9 on the other one.
Oh, there
nice.
we
Go ahead and roll that damage.
Oh boy, I don't know what the damage is. That's a good call. I have to look that up. I'm very sorry.
You're fine. 2d6 plus 1.
Okay, I will write that down so I will not forget. 2d6 plus 1. So I will roll both of those now. Let's see, that is a 5, 6, 7 plus 1, 8. And that is, the damage die exploded, so that's a 6 plus 6 plus 4.
Oh.
17, 18, 19 damage on the other guy.
Damn. All right, so which one was which?
I'll say the first one was a rifleman, and then the next was satchel guy.
Okay. All right, so both shots just fire off. You hear your ears kind of ring, Jonah, as they're just fired off right beside you. Nothing you're not used to, but one bullet slams into basically just the top of the shoulder of the rifleman, and he's like winces and steadies himself and gets prepared to take another shot. The other bullet slams directly into the neck of the one digging in the satchel, and he like stiffens for a moment and then just slumps over dead on the ground.
Oh.
All right. Is that your turn?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of something witty to say, but maybe like, I don't know, stuff it, mister. I don't know. It's
And as your heart is starting to beat faster, the blood is just pumping, and you feel this just pulse on like one temple, just pulsing into your head, or like not quite a headache yet, but it hurts. And with that, we move on to Willie. You and Matthias have just dove into the cabin of this train. You hear bullets slamming into the metal. You hear glass shattering above you as bullets are slamming into the windows. What would you like to do?
Can I look out and see who Luther just shot?
Yeah, you can kind of maneuvering yourself, looking out the doorway. You can see just in time that person hit with the bullet and just crumble over. You see the other two riflemen, and then you hear bullets coming from in front of you.
I hear someone closer than those guys.
You're not sure if they're closer, but you do know there was a whole group of these guys standing all together. So you know there is more in front of the train, but you're not sure if they've advanced.
Okay, I'm gonna try to fire my bolt at whoever I can see.
Okay, one of those riflemen?
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, where to go? That's a 4.
That will do it. Go ahead and roll bolt damage, which I had some.
That is only 3.
Okay. All right, so the bolt flies out. You see Luther and Jonah. You see light just above you as one of these familiar bolts just whoosh out towards one of these riflemen. And as it slams more into the ground than it does to him, but you see pieces of the ground just fly up and kind of scatter against him. It pushes him back a little bit, and he's definitely not trained on your two allies at this point. Is there any sort of movement you'd like to make?
No, I'm real shook up. This is my first rodeo, so I'm gonna keep the cover of the cabin.
All right. And now we are up to Matthias.
So Matthias is gonna see all of this happening, and he's gonna yell to Willie, "Stick to cover!" And then I
Yes,
would
sir?
like to move as far as I can. As I'm running down the train car toward the front of the train, I'm gonna yell behind me, "I'm going up top!" And I'll go through the train car door, and as much of my turn as I can spent getting on top of the train.
Okay. Go ahead and make an athletics roll for me.
Athletics. Is that under agility or?
No, that's a separate skill, I believe. Or no, it's it should be like at the top of your skill sheet, I think.
The first one.
Oh no, I don't have that.
So D4.
Plus
everyone
5.
should get that as a core skill. At
Yeah, I think
D4.
that's one of the ones. So it's not, no
I
negative
did.
penalty, but it's just a D4.
That's a 4.
Roll it again. It explodes.
And a 3, so it's 7 altogether.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, so you do so. It does take your entire turn, but you're able to rush over and climb up using the train as cover to get up on top of the train. I imagine prone.
I want to pop up just long enough to know that like some of them have seen me, and then
Okay.
drop.
Sure. Yeah, so you pop up, and with that, I'll say, let's see. There's, you see the two men over at the side. one of them's like wincing from being hit by Willie's bolt. And then you see, since you're just popping up, you can't quite get numbers, but you see a group of men at the front of the train, and they are advancing. They are coming forward, and you see them taking turns just firing off shots at the train itself. And some of them do notice you. You see their guns come up, and that is the end of your turn. And now we're up to Jonah.
Okay, I think I'm going to take aim at the last remaining that got distracted by Willie, or at least the last remaining that's targeting us, and try and save our skins with a bolt in his direction.
Well, there are still two. There were 3 men over there. One of them had the satchel. 2 of them have rifles.
Okay.
I hit one of the riflemen.
In the shoulder.
Yeah, there were 2 riflemen. I hit one.
I'll target the one that was hit by Luther already.
Okay, perfect.
I have a 9 to hit.
That'll do it.
So damage.
You get bonus damage on that because there was a race, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
He takes 14 points of damage.
Okay. All right. So, tell me how this looks. Like, are you kind of laying on your side?
Yeah, I'm ducked under. I'm trying to keep as much cover between me and that other person as much as possible. I look up just enough to get the perfect card throw, and I flick it into the air. It gets this nice curve into the air. It lands sort of diagonally poking up into the sand. And I like to think at first this guy just looks at it like, what the hell is a card? What's that going to do? And then the pale man climbs himself out, and it's really just his skull from out of the card, and chomps into this guy's leg, just swallows as much of it as he can, taking this man in.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna look at Jonah and say, I softened him up for you.
Yeah. Well, Luther, you made your point. Can't we get in the train now?
So as this is happening, you see this man screaming. He drops his rifle, and his screams, he gets a few good screams out before the screams stop, and he just slumps over, and the card disappears. Just normal land before you with almost like a half-eaten man just laying there. That is round 1.
I'll use the remainder of my turn, if I have some movement, to try and usher me and Luther back into the actual train.
Sure, I'll say you can kind of hook around his arm. You can get to the door.
Perfect.
To the doorway of the train. And now we have Luther.
Uh-oh.
We have Jonah.
Okay.
We have Willie. The 4, it's not wanting to focus. We have Matthias. And we have the gunners.
I may... Wait, what did they get? Ugh, okay, I may spend a penny. I'll do that, because I'm pretty low on the turn order.
All right, so I'll take your previous card and draw 2 new ones.
Probably 10 of clubs then, right?
All right.
Man, how do they keep getting face cards?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, so okay, so the people still up at the front of the train, they are still advancing, taking steps forward, just firing off shots. Most of them, you hear them hitting the train itself just over and over and over. Matthias, I'm going to roll an attack towards you as you're ducking back down. This is going to have a -8 penalty because you're basically behind all cover at this point. They have like a slim chance, so.
Slim's not 0.
Yeah, the bullets just, you hear them just flying, whizzing through the air. You hear them hitting the metal of the train, and you're just ducked down. the one rifleman that's still left that had just been distracted by Willie, you see him look at you rushing back into the train, and he readies his gun for a moment, and then he looks down at the satchel that hit the ground, and he actually turns to it, digs something out, and you see, go ahead and Luther and Jonah make a notice roll for me.
Wait,
Let's see here.
the one.
How do I not? Oh, there it is. I was worried I didn't have notice on my list of skills. I was like, oh god. Let's see. 5.
There we go. At least
All right.
somebody saw it.
Yeah, so Luther, oddly enough, you actually hear it more than you see it. You hear just this familiar strike of like a Zippo lighter. And as the man is turning back around towards you, you see 3 sticks of dynamite tied together. And as he brings the lighter up to this fuse, it sparks, and he kind of arcs back, getting ready to throw. And I'll say he is in this arced position, ready to throw this dynamite. Meanwhile, from around the corner, one of the other riflemen comes around. Their intentions were to go in and get where they saw the bolt fly from. But as they step around, they see Luther and Jonah right here at the doorway of this train car. So you see them just bring their rifle up, point blank. They are going to attempt a shot at Luther. What is your toughness, Luther?
I think it is a 5. I will double check. It is a 5.
Okay, so they step around, they fire off a shot. You feel the bullet slam into your abdomen, and this is going to be enough damage to give you 1 wound. Do you take it?
No, I'm gonna soak it.
Okay.
Or attempt to soak it. I'm looking up how to do that. I need to make a vigor check.
Yes.
And I will check my vigor is a d6. Attempt to do this. I got a 6, and rolling again, I got a 5. That's an 11.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Oof.
So, as this bullet slams into your abdomen, you take it. You don't feel it exit the other side. It's definitely wedged in there. And as this hits you, you feel this just surge of energy almost as it hits you, and you kind of stiffen a little bit, and that hardly even hurt.
Try better next time.
He is standing there looking at you like appalled that you're still standing, and that is the end of his turn. So we are up to, I believe, Jonah.
Okay, so we've got this one in front of me, and then we've got the one with the dynamite behind us. Is this one in front of me standing in the way of the dynamite? Would he be an impediment to me hitting Dynamite Boy?
No, he's more of, he was coming around from the front, so it's sort of the 3 of you are almost kind of standing in a line, and then the one holding the dynamite is a little ways away.
Angled.
Yeah,
Got it.
angled.
Okay, in that case, I'm gonna look to Luther. I'm like, who am I to stop you from your revenge? And I turn myself to the dynamite one, and I'm gonna shoot off a blast in his direction.
Sure.
stopping this explosion. Okay, I have a 6. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Damage, they do raise or they don't?
They do, yes.
Okay.
I love that question.
Yeah.
It's a
17.
good question. 17. All right, so his arm is up, and right as he's going to throw, this bolt slams into his chest, pushes him backwards. And you're scared for a moment because he was like in the arcing stage, and as he's hit, the dynamite releases. And you see it flipping through the air, and it's going to land directly in between him and the three of you. Just lands in the sand. You see, or in the dirt. You see the fuse still just burning away. Is that your turn?
Could I get the door open, sort of pull us through?
I'd say it probably is open already. So yeah, you can absolutely just grab onto Luther and pull him through if you'd like, unless Luther fights that.
I'm not gonna make Luther come with
Okay.
me because knowing him, he's gonna light this fucker up.
Okay.
I'm just gonna get inside and hide behind the corner there and wait for him.
Yeah, you jump in. You see Willie taking cover in here as well.
I'll actually run down. Well, no, I'll stay around the corner in case things go bad with Luther.
All right. Okay. Matthias.
Do I see that the dynamite is there?
Make a notice roll.
Notice. No, that's a 3.
Yeah, you've been a little preoccupied with the people up at the front anyway, so you're not even you don't even know the dynamite exists.
Fair. Cool. I am going to stand just enough that I can see some people.
Okay.
And then just take a pot shot at the first person I see.
Wonderful.
With my gun. And that is and that's a 5 on my shooting roll.
Yeah, that will do it. Go ahead and roll damage.
Uh, 9 damage.
Okay. All right, so as you just pop up, kind of on a one knee sort of situation, just getting up, aiming your gun, you see at least 3 people up at the front, stepping forward to get closer and closer to this train. One of them has actually made it close enough to the train where they would have pretty decent cover from you, but the other 2 are still a little ways back, and you just aim down your sights and fire, and you see the bullet actually slam into like the temple. Blood spray backwards as you see him just go down. All right. Now we are up to Luther.
Okay, so let's reset for a second. Like, how many dudes am I seeing right now?
Right now, all you're seeing is the one that's standing in front of you.
Is the dynamite on the ground there?
Yeah, it's a little ways between you and where the one that was throwing it was standing. So it's probably a good 15, 20 feet away from you.
Do I feel, with my experience in my life of dynamite, that I'm at a safe distance, or do I feel like I'm in danger?
It could go either way.
Okay.
There are 3 sticks, so you know that packs quite a punch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And can I shoot that dude and then move in the same turn?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna do that. And does that
Right.
guy have any cover or anything?
Nope.
Okay,
No, he
then
stepped around and is looking right at you.
Then I'm gonna do Two Gun Kid again.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say, you've made your last mistake, partner. And here we go. Oh, that's a 10 on the first one. And the second one is a 3. So the first one hit, second one
Yes, it
didn't.
does.
So let's go here. Bonus die for damage. 6. I did 19 on that. Like, I'm never gonna roll this good again.
Woo!
This is it.
Yeah, so he's standing there looking surprised that you were still standing with a bullet in your abdomen. And as he's readying his gun for one more shot, you just spin your guns towards him and fire off both. One of them slams just directly in the center of the chest, and you see him take a couple steps backwards. And then he goes to fire at you as he's kind of falling down, and the shot just fires off into just air, just up into nothing as his body slumps down. You do hear the men at the front now are kind of shouting things to each other, as, I mean, many of their men were just murdered in a matter of seconds.
I will scream at them. I'll say, you know, you had your shot, you blew it, and then I'm gonna go back into the train.
All right. Yeah, you step up into the train. Okay. Willie, you're up.
Is Matthias still on the roof?
As far as you know.
Okay. Can I roll to see if I notice that dynamite?
Sure. Make a notice roll.
All right. There we go. About a 4.
4. Yeah, so you're kind of looking out as Luther climbs in, and as he's climbing in, you just see this like almost like urgency on his face for a moment as he ducks in, and after he gets out of the way of the doorway, you're able to see the tiniest little spark. You might not entirely know that it's dynamite necessarily, because it is on the ground and a little bit obscured, but you see the slightest little bit of light. So you know something's there, and you know Luther was probably running from it.
So Willie happens to be obsessed with explosives, and she knows that dynamite was invented by Alfred Nobel, one of her favorite scientists. And she's dying to put a blasting cap in these boys' behinds. So she's going to go ahead and just fire that bolt right at that spark.
Perfect.
And, ooh, we got a 9. A 9.
That will do it. So I will say, with Matthias up top, and with the rest of you kind of in the same little train car area, as your bolt slams into this, you hear this detonation that's like way louder than it should have been, with the dynamite combining with this bolt. As it slams into it, there's this flash of light that even almost blinds you guys coming into the train itself. Just this flash of light, and then this sudden explosion as all 3 of these sticks of dynamite are just blasted in one go, and you feel dirt and rock and shrapnel hitting the side of the train. Some of it even rains inside, and the train car itself just rocks just slightly from this blast. It doesn't rock enough to like come off the tracks or anything, but you feel the pressure for sure. And your ears are ringing for a moment. Good turn. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
She's just going to be like, ooh, that was just as good as I ever thought it would be.
All right.
I exchange a funny glance with Jonah.
There is something wrong with that woman.
All right. We have Luther,
Finally.
There you go.
Jonah,
Okay.
Willie,
Right?
Matthias, and the Gunners. spin to Benny. The gunners. That is literally the same.
Awesome. That's so tough as a GM.
Anybody else spinning a Benny? Good? Alright. Okay, so first up is Luther.
So do I see any of them at this point?
Currently, no.
So I'll hold my action and then wait to interrupt. Like, I'm going to be providing cover. I will yell out, and I'm not trying to do persuade roll because I don't want to do my action. But actually, sorry, let's recap just a second. Is the train stopped because there's something in the tracks?
Their little caravan is like parked in the track, basically, like all the way around, and their little campfire seems to be like beside the track itself. They were intentionally camped here to stop any traffic.
So I will, like, while I'm waiting, and I'm just saying I just kind of yell at the engineers, like, just blow through them. They're no good anyway. Just get the engine started.
Okay. All right. And you're holding to interrupt the turn, like if someone's like coming around.
If I see one of them come
Gotcha.
around, I want to be able to blast them in the face.
Okay. Sounds good. Next we have Jonah.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna move down the train a bit. I'm holding an action as well to take a shot with my revolver if any of them pop up.
Okay.
We gotta get moving. We ain't got much time on Luther. We gotta blow through.
All right. Willie.
I'm gonna follow suit, and also just but I'm gonna kind of back away from the opening.
Okay. All right. Do you want to go all the way back where Jonah is, or do you want to kind of be in the center?
Back where Jonah is.
Okay. All right. It is now their turn, and you can't make out what they're saying, but you hear them saying things to each other, not in like a whisper, not in a yell, but they're just, their ears are ringing too from that dynamite blast, and you just hear muffled shouts as they're shouting to each other from the front of the train. And then almost in response to Luther, you hear one of them yell out in sort of like it's very clearly a false confidence. Like they just saw a lot of their people die real quick, but you hear them yelling out, this is your last chance to turn around! And that is, as far as you know, their turn. Matthias, what would you like to do?
Matthias would like to stand, and I am going to make my way towards the front of the train.
Okay.
Keeping an eye out for anybody like popping up or anything like that.
Go ahead and make a notice roll.
Notice roll. It's a 7.
All right. You're keeping an eye out. You actually don't see any of them. And you make your way up to the front of this train just fine, and nobody's in sight.
All right. Then I'm going to hang out here and wait until I see one of them.
Okay. Interesting. How does this work? Because everyone is holding their turn. So I think we'll just continue in that order for now, since this turn is technically like being held. So Luther, is there, not seeing anybody pop up, is there anything?
I guess I would try to persuade the engineers if I felt like there was a hope that they would like just start the train and go and smash all that crap. I would try to persuade them to do so.
Yeah, you shout out to the front train car again, just yelling out towards them. Go ahead and make a persuasion roll.
I guess I can go up there too.
You could.
And say that person. Could I sing my? Because my performance is way better than persuasion.
Well, here, we'll do this. Are you heading up there?
Yeah.
All right, so you rush up into that front car. You rush into the front car, and everyone up here has been sprayed with bullets, and they are dead on the ground.
Oh, great.
So you're coming in like, can we just get moved? And then you just see blood sprayed everywhere. The gunfire that seemed to have just been at nothing, that was killing everyone they could see at the front of this train.
So what you're saying is we can't roll to persuade corpses.
Correct.
Yeah.
That sounds like quitter talk.
Yeah.
Would I know, like, that there's a lever or something I can push? Is this like a knowledge roll or something?
I mean, you see a few levers. Go ahead and make.
Is it common knowledge or?
I think it would be
How
very
hard
common.
is it?
I'm pretty sure there's a drive roll in this.
Just take the manual out of the glove compartment.
I'm not. Yeah, if it's drive, I don't have any skill in that.
Yeah, I mean, you can roll a d4 with a -2.
That's very wishful thinking. I yell back to the train compartment. Does anybody know how to drive a train that may be more mechanical than myself?
All right.
This is not a horse. I know how to ride a horse.
Willie, that sounds like your department.
I know. I mean, I think she probably could. I've got that MacGyver, that MacGyver edge, so I
that's
feel
good.
like she could figure it out.
Maybe.
So,
All right, so yeah, Luther, you yell back. Is there anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
do I see any of them
You do
out
not.
there? I will stand watch and try to do cover as any of my pals come forward.
Okay. Jonah.
I am just going to position myself towards one of the windows and sort of very casually open it, hoping
Sure.
to God there's no bullets that go through my hands. But I'm going to call out to the miscreants who are shooting at us. And go,
Okay.
listen, you have seen what we're capable of. You've seen what we've done to your buddies. And if I'm being honest, that's me on a casual day. If you don't getting the fuck out of here, I promise you, me and my friends are going to make it so much worse for your existence. I want you to live today. Run. And I'll try and persuade them to get out.
Damn. Yeah. Go ahead and make that roll. I'm also gonna give you a Benny for that.
Woo! Persuasion. Okay, not bad. 8, and I raised, so 8 and 7 is 15.
All right. Noted. Willie, is there anything you would like to do?
I'm gonna respond to Luther's request, and I'm gonna go up to try to get this thing started.
All right. So you rush up to the front of this. Looking around, you do see all the glass is just shattered inward. There's just glass on the floor. You see blood sprayed everywhere. The other 3 people that were in here dead on the floor. And Luther's just looking at all of these levers. So
I would say, I hope you can get this contraption started.
Well, starting a train seems like all the other things I try to do in my experiments. You just got to ask yourself what, why, and how much.
So now I'm asking you what, why, and how much.
Oh, all right then. I'm looking for a lever.
Okay. There are a few. Go ahead and I'll have you make. Do you want to do tinkering?
That
There's some
sounds
sort of, or is that like repair? Is it repair or tinkering?
repair, I would say.
Sure.
That's the trait for the MacGyver edge,
Okay.
if we're thinking about it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say that's how Willie would probably approach this. So
Here goes nothing. That's a 2, so I'm going to use a Benny to try again.
okay.
Nope, I didn't do it. Got a 3.
You want to use
that time.
another?
Did you
Can
roll
I?
your 2 dice? Because remember
Yeah.
you get it. Oh, dang.
I did both. I'll do it again. I'll do another.
Dang.
This is too important.
Yeah.
5.
That's better.
There we go.
All right, so you're looking at this, and you kind of just there's all this blood just sprayed over it. They have words on them, most of them, so you're just kind of wiping some of the blood off of different places to be able to read it better, and you're just moving it out of the way with your sleeve. You're not certain, but the one main lever here, you're not sure if it's to make this go or to make it stop, or maybe it's a little bit of both. You do see just this one center lever, and it seems to be at just an upright position right now. You think that would probably be your best bet?
I'm gonna push it forward.
All right, you grab onto it and you push it forward. You hear the straining of this train. You feel it kind of pull forward a little bit and then stop, and you see the front of it just smoke just billowing out from underneath the from like the tracks themselves, just smoke billowing upward. You feel it just inch forward, but it doesn't seem to be able to go very far. Go ahead and make a smarts roll.
Okay. I think that's. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. Oh, come on. Oh, 6. All right.
6? Okay.
If it's on the D6, do I roll it again?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So that's another 4, so 10.
Awesome. Okay, so as you are pushing this forward, you're like, okay, that worked. But whatever damage this seems to have taken, it probably can't pull the rest of the train cars. It could probably go, but you'll have to disconnect it from the other cars.
All right, I'm gonna shout that back to my partners and say, "Get up here! We gotta let loose."
All right. Now, for their turn, I will have Jonah and Matthias make a notice roll for me. Where were you, Matthias?
I am
Still up
on
top?
the
Okay.
front of the train.
Right. Okay. I wasn't. I couldn't remember if he moved down or not.
I have a 5 for the
Okay.
notes.
6 for the notice.
Okay. So, Matthias, you see 2 men pop up from in front of the train, and they are hauling ass towards their horses, and you just see them just sprinting, not even looking back. Jonah, you see the third person kind of pop up from in front of the window that you were looking out of, but not facing you. They pop up and start running in the opposite direction. They are all sprinting as fast as they can, and there's a second before the dynamite they placed underneath the train explodes. So I'm gonna have Jonah and Matthias. Oh no, you're at the front of the train. I'm gonna have Jonah make an agility roll for me.
Okay.
Spend all your bennies to pass
Yeah.
this.
My highest is a 4, so I'm gonna spend a Benny just to roll my luck here.
All right.
Now I've got a 6. Thank God. An 8
Okay.
total.
All right. So, as this dynamite explodes, they seem to have been placing it at the car that the majority of you were before you have moved up to the front. So, it was placed on that train car that you were all collected in. And as they're sprinting away from it, Jonah's the only one inside. And as it explodes, you see the floor of that train car just burst inward. Tables, seats just being pushed over. You actually raise up your arm just in time for a table to just slam into your arm and kind of slam you up against the back wall of this train car itself. Bumped, bruised, but you managed to make it out of this without any injuries. But you now are standing in a train car that is just blasted from the floor up. There's smoke everywhere. It's kind of filling the car without going out of like the one window that you opened up and the door up at the front. And with this opening at the bottom, you just hear from another fuse, but you're not sure where it's located. Now I'll say we can finish out that by Matthias. Is there anything in particular you wanted to do?
So, seeing the train inch forward the way it is, I'm probably gonna like look at Willie and Luther in like below me in the engine car, and then I'm gonna yell out, "Jonah, quit screwing around!" And I'm gonna jump down behind the engine car and try to decouple it from the rest of the train.
Okay. How are you going about that?
I'm gonna go down and see how the engine is connected to the rest of the train, whether it's like a coupling or anything like that. Just sort of like clamber my way down as quick as I can.
Sure. Go ahead and make a, we'll say smarts roll.
Smarts. Right. That's an 8.
All right. As you rush down and you go and look to see how this is connected, the blast seems to have kind of shoved it back just a little bit, and you see where it had been connected before. It's kind of more smushed together at this point. It's not something that you could just disconnect like you would be able to do at any sort of train yard or anything like that. The metal seems to be kind of crushed together at this point. Not impossible, but you're not quite sure how to go about it.
All right, so I'll just, if I can, look back into the engine car where the other two are. Be like, metal got all hinky back here. I don't think we're going to be able to disconnect this one.
All right, and as you're shouting that, Jonah, the one that had sprinted away from your side of this train car, is now making a wide angle on the other side. You see the other two that had sprinted forward. They have hopped up on horses and they are riding over. They're not even fucking with grabbing any extra horses or their carts. They have, each rider is on a horse, and as they ride by this third one, they kind of, they just put an arm down, scoop him up, put him on the back of their horse, and you see them riding off as you just still hear this. And next round of combat, we have Luther, Jonah, Willie.
Okay.
Matthias. And for all intents and purposes, the dynamite. Oh,
Fudge.
Come on.
who wants to spend a penny?
I would spend a penny.
I'll do my thing where I draw the 2 cards.
All right.
I'll spend a penny as well.
All right, so here is Luther's.
Okay. Is clubs before or after the other thing? It's reverse
alphabetical.
Yeah. But
so
I don't know what they got. They got a...
They have spades.
Spades is the highest, right?
Yeah.
But
They
it's...
go
If
first.
they would go first. It was, oh, God.
And then there's your Benny.
Could we spend a penny to have you redraw for dynamite?
I'll say if you all want to use a Benny.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it.
I'm in
on
for
top
that.
of the dynamite.
That's fine with me. I got one left.
Everyone
I'll say
spend a Benny?
no. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'd be... I'm down to 1. I gotta keep this one, though.
I've got 3.
I'm plumb out.
I'm really hoping I can entertain the GM in the next few minutes and get more pennies.
All right, so Jonah you were wanting to redraw as well?
Yeah. Oh, I'll take it.
Nice.
Oh, I missed it.
Alright.
What was it?
King.
It was a king of clubs.
Okay.
Willie, you were fine with yours, right? Or do you?
Yep.
Yeah. And Matthias, you had a 2. You're redrawing, correct?
Yes.
Woo-hoo. All right, now all of you spent a Benny to have the dynamite redraw, and it paid off.
Oh, I was like, it's gonna be a Joker.
I know.
Worried
That'd be
about the
crazy.
I couldn't redraw for myself because I don't have any left.
Willie is now a fragile china.
Flower.
Flower or like a piece of
Protect
china.
me.
Okay, so first
Form a
up,
circle around Willie.
we technically have Matthias.
So the dynamite just went off behind us.
Correct.
I go back that way and check on Jonah because Willie and Luther are up in the engine.
Sure.
So Jonah's the only.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you go into that train car, or do you kind of look in through the window?
I'm gonna open the back of the train car
Okay.
and look in that way.
Yeah, you sprint
Yeah.
around. You open the back. He is against the wall at the back of the train car. So when you open the door, he almost kind of stumbles out. You kind of reach up and catch him. He's
Matthias,
there at the back.
They rigged the train. They rigged the train. It's about to go. We
Yeah,
gotta
it's
go.
probably more dynamite. And then I'm gonna drag him sort of around the train,
Sure.
away from it.
Okay, you start helping him away from the train. Perfect. Jonah, you're up.
Yeah, I'm gonna do everything in my power to run as far away from this fucking train as possible to get away from this explosion.
Perfect.
I'm
I
gonna
will
run
say.
it-
Go ahead. What was that?
What's up?
No, just continue this, and then I have a question.
Okay.
Okay. I'm
Um,
going to run in the direction that the shooters ran off in.
Okay.
because
The
obviously they
two,
know-
like up forward, or the one that was kind of running from your direction?
The one that was running from me, because
Okay.
obviously he knows where he planted them.
Okay. Yeah. So, Matthias pulls you out of the train car, and then you kind of take lead and just sprint, still locked, like arm in arm, pulling each other, and you sprint off towards the direction. You see the 3 surviving shooters on horseback just out of here. They are hauling ass in the other direction. And that is your turn. Now we have Luther.
All right, I see my pals running off, and I think in my head, weren't we supposed to take this train to Santa Fe in order to cure my problem?
St. Louis.
And I'm really like St. Louis, sorry.
I think I'd be shaking my hands
And
wildly as I'm
I'm
running.
trying to like compute how this all happens. Now, question. Question for
Okay.
the DM, or I'm sorry, GM, or whatever. Do I know if we could make it there by horseback? Like in the time that we're given?
This is something you've probably thought about quite a bit in the past few hours.
Right.
Just going over various transportation, different ways to get there. It is possible on horseback. And as you kind of have thought about that, would it have been possible in that amount of time for the woman that had turned? Probably not. You kind of take comfort, whether it's false comfort, you're not sure, but comfort in the fact that the woman was bitten on the neck and you were bitten on the ankle. You could have more time than the woman.
And okay, if this is too much, I'm sorry. So as I'm looking at my friends who are fleeing and waving at me ecstatically, and I'm trying to put this all together mentally, do I see any horses available? Like, did the bandits leave any?
Oh yeah, there's quite a few horses still tight, like at their little campsite.
Okay, I'm gonna run. I'm gonna yell at Willie.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's time to get off the train. This may be the last stop, partner. And I take off. And I look. Can I roll like notice as I'm running away to see the dynamite?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm gonna attempt to see if it's like just beneath the train, or you know what I mean? Like, here we go. It's a 6 and a 3, so 6 is now a 5. So 6 plus 5. 11.
All right, so as you're sprinting towards this little campsite and towards these horses, you glance back and you're actually not able to see the dynamite itself, but you see like what was long fuse sticking out from the very front of this train. You see like the remains of a fuse going deeper underneath the train. Wherever this dynamite seems to be, it's under the train. So you're not sure how much.
Okay.
But...
So I continue running the horses, and if I have any juice or momentum or whatever, I would try to like grab the bridles, or like if they're tied up or whatever, grab as many as I can to like steady them for if the explosion goes off, so they don't all just try to bolt or whatever.
Okay, sure.
Good call.
Are there... Let's see here. For that, I'll say just make a riding roll. Like, it's not technically riding, but it's still handling horses, so I'll say...
Great. All right, so my riding is D6. Oof, 2 and a 2. But I get the reroll. And that's a 5 and a 4. So
All right.
one success.
Okay. Noted. Willie, you see and hear everyone sprinting away from the train, and you see Luther running forward and just grabbing horses and just bracing them for something.
So I am a little sad because I want to drive this dang train, but I'm going to run after everybody else. And I'm just going to say, Willie, you got to get a wiggle on. Let's go. And I run out.
You get out of the train and just sprint? Okay. Do you head towards Jonah?
I follow where Jonah was going.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So sprinting away, there's this moment where all of you are just running. You hear your breath just quick breathing. You hear your heartbeat in your ears. You're sprinting, and then you just hear different explosions just take off underneath that train car and the main train car. And as this does so, do any of you look back? I guess Luther would probably have a pretty good... Yeah, as this is exploding, none of you are injured by this. You are able to get far enough away, but you are all pushed off your feet. And the horses themselves too are kind of shoved a little bit. You all are pushed off your feet, fall over. As you're standing back up, the horses are whinnying, they're freaked out, and they're standing. One of them does take off, but you're able to grab onto the other two of them and kind of steady them. They are freaking out, so you kind of just use your knowledge of horses and make sure you're not in any sort of dangerous place by the horses. You're keeping them calm, you're keeping them aware of where you are and that you're not a threat to them, and you're just mostly focusing on the horses. And as you see this explosion behind you, the whole train car that you were originally riding in is just disintegrated. It is nothing. The other one...
Feel bad for the other passengers.
The other one...
If they haven't gotten off.
the front car, the one with the engine, the whole back of it is blasted open. And then there is this just moment of quiet as the horses are getting calmed down. All of you are like basically like sitting on the ground from being blasted over, and it's quiet for a moment, and then you just hear of the very front of the train car still attempting to move forward at like a snail's pace. As it's just
Way to go,
it's
Willie.
still-
I did it.
It is just barely
Oh.
moving, and the back end is kind of scraping against the railroad tracks themselves, and you see kind of sparks flying up as it is just
Hop in, we can get back to St. Louis.
the dust is
God.
settling.
I can't believe we made it. Oh, train's gone. Oh my.
It was
I
a
know,
close
but
one,
it is
Jonah.
a beautiful sight. Like the 4th of July.
Well, we got 2 horses, and I need to get to the doctor, so I apologize. Maybe I should head on out. We don't see any other transportation, do we? Besides the
No.
2?
Nonsense.
You-
We can take the two horses, can't we?
We're going
Sure,
with
we
you,
have to
Luther.
ride on some backs, but what's that among friends?
That
Oh,
sounds good.
we have shared a horse before, Jonah, so it's no skin off my back.
I say we gotta see this thing through to the end. I can't leave you just by the road, Luther.
I would like to take a quick look around that campsite to see if we can find any information about who these boys were.
Yeah. Well, they said they were with the rail baron, didn't they? I mean, what sort of encounter is this for them to treat us like that? If they're really working with the company, what the hell is happening in St. Louis?
Yeah,
I
this
know.
seemed really gestures at the train. Really good for the railroad.
They need to work on their sense of customer service if this is what they're doing on behalf of the company.
Maybe you can write a letter when we get back.
I got some words for those men.
Matthias is preparing a horse to go.
All right. Yeah, so you said you wanted to look at the site.
Yeah.
I'll have you just make a notice roll for me.
Nope. I got a 2 and a 1, and I'm out of bennies.
All right. Looking through, they don't seem to have much in terms of gear. They seem to have expended all of their dynamite on this train. And you
Well,
saw,
I should say.
you see one cart that looks like it was hauling the rest of the members that didn't have horses with them. And other than that, just looks like a typical campsite. It looks like they've probably been set up here for a little while, at least over a week.
Are there at least
Yeah.
2 trained horsemen here? Because I am.
I am not.
I am also not.
No. Well, you know this.
Yeah, I guess.
They
I
scare
didn't want to make anybody feel bad by singling anybody out.
I just don't like their teeth. They're too big.
Oh, they're wonderful.
You
Hell,
want
they're
to pull us in the cart?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that. Or is it one of those carts where, like, the person sits up front and then, like, guides the horse and the horse does its thing?
We
Yes.
put both on there? An attachment for 2 horses, maybe?
It looks like it was probably meant for 2 horses.
That's a strike of providence if I've ever called one.
All right, I start hooking it up as soon. Like, anybody can look around while I'm doing this, but as soon as I'm set up, I'm heading out, people.
Yeah, I'm helping Luther set up.
Okay.
Harry, I had a question. Can we give bennies to other players?
Sure.
Okay. Willie, you said you don't have one?
I'm out. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna give one Benny to Willie. Is anybody else out of Bennies?
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll keep
All right.
the other one on reserve if we run out.
Okay, so you have hooked up these horses, hopped into the cart, and are you just following the tracks?
Reasonable.
That's as good a plan as
Yeah,
any.
I guess I'm in the I don't know, driver's seat. I'm sorry, I don't know the right
Yeah.
terminology right now. And yeah, I guess I would either follow that, or if I'd seen some sort of trail that people would take that's quick.
Okay.
Because riding a cart on railroad tracks probably wouldn't be wise.
Probably not very comfortable. Speaking of comfortable, you, Luther, feel like you should probably be in some pain right now. And as you kind of glance down at the bullet wound in your abdomen, it is bleeding. Like, it is something you should probably tend to, but it just doesn't hurt. And as you're kind of looking at it, it is soaking into your clothes. And I just want you to keep track. You have temporarily gained a +1 to your parry.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, is that what happens when you get shot? I gotta get shot more often.
I'd say getting bit isn't half so bad. I asked for like some sort of cloth or something just a quick tie around me,
Can
So
I
I'm
try
not-
to do a healing check on him?
Sure.
And I will mention, oh man, my shirt. I'm getting blood on my shirt. I'm gonna have to get this professionally cleaned.
Come here, you little baby. And I just rip that bit of the shirt off.
But
And
that was a $10 shirt.
I'll get you back. You can put it on my tab.
I got it in San Francisco.
I got 2 4s.
All right, perfect.
Jonah, did you see that?
So,
He's
how
taking care of
does Willie go about healing?
So for this, she has like a little healing balm. It's got lavender, little beeswax, calendula, and some oil and honey for the antimicrobial properties.
All right, so you're not super concerned about the bullet still in your stomach. It's not bothering you any, and your main focus is to hurry right now. So she comes over and just kind of rubs this ointment, and it's enough to stop the bleeding for sure. It almost like acts as like a seal, kind of. It just seals the wound, and as it's drying, it kind of feels a little stiff, but it's no longer bleeding.
Wow, that was amazing. I hit
Dude.
Get them horses rolling.
All right.
Get them doggies
Well,
rolling.
we don't want our little vampire to get an infection as well. So
I appreciate it. I'm sorry. I just got a little thrown off because I love this shirt.
oh, I'm sorry about that. I can sew it back on if you want.
We can talk about it later.
Okay.
All right. So you are back on the road, so to speak. You weren't stopped for very long. It was, I mean, with the searching and the hooking up the horses, not even 30 minutes. And as you're hurrying to continue forward, I'm gonna have Jonah make a notice roll.
I have a 6.
All right. As you're pushing forward, you see almost like the shadow of some sort of bird in the sky. And as you look, you don't see the bird, and then the shadow's gone, and it takes you a little while to see it again, just like this wingspan just stretch out over you, but you don't see a bird. That happens a few times, and then you actually see what looks like a crow kind of drift It seems to have been kind of flying above the cart, the wagon. So it was just kind of out of your view, and as it drifts over, you're able to see it a little clearer. Just a crow, just seems to be following the cart.
We got a scavenger bird hovering over caravan. I don't for the life of me know what it means, but you know, crows, bad omens.
Crows usually do that.
I got my rifle in the back if you want to take a shot at it.
Oh, I don't know. Is killing a bad omen, doesn't that make it worse?
Now you're worried about killing?
I look at Luther and I look back at the train and I go, what do you mean make it worse? How much worse could it possibly get?
Oh no, there is symbolism in this life, and those 8 people, they're
Matthias
not
is
symbols.
like pulling out his gun and aiming at the crow.
I promise you're gonna regret that, Matthias. But you go on.
I would say, feel free to use my rifle if it helps.
I don't know. I don't think we should shoot it just yet. I want to see if it seems to be just a bird, if it has some kind of intention.
I suppose crows are talented enough. You could teach them to surveil. I suppose maybe the rail baron's watching over its property. Or it could be other things. And he looks at Matthias.
I give like a nice long look at Jonah because we both know exactly what he means.
Mhm.
And then like a moment passes and I like flip my revolver, put it away.
Okay.
I'm going to throw a little bit of food out. I want to see if it is hungry and it would act like a normal bird and get some food scraps. If I have any meat, dried meat or anything like that, throw it out, see if it does anything.
Yeah, I'd say you probably have some rations for the road. Or you probably wouldn't, but Jonah and Luther probably do. You weren't
And I
exactly
will
prepared to be on the road.
kindly ask if anybody has any.
Yeah, I got some seed. By all means, it's yours.
Let's just toss it out and see what happens.
It sounds good to me. You know,
Tossing it outside? Like outside the cart? Okay.
Outside the cart. I just want to see if the bird's going to dive down and eat it, like I would expect a bird to do, or if it stays with us.
Very smart creatures. You know, crows hold their own funerals.
I did not know that. And they don't even have to pack a change of clothes.
Always dressed in black.
Glad you can all turn this into a learning experience.
Oh, always.
All right, you throw out the rations onto the ground, and it takes a moment, and then you see the crow kind of arc around, circle back, and you do see it land on the ground and begin pecking down at this food. It looks up at the cart and kind of turns its head for a moment, and then starts back at the food again, and that's where you see it as it falls out of sight as the cart continues forward.
Remember, I was not on team shoot it. Just so everyone remembers correctly.
Little guy just wanted a snack.
I still don't like it.
If he comes back, we ought to give him a gift. They like gifts. Maybe some. Do we have any glass? They love glass. Oh well, we'll worry about that when it comes back.
All right.
I think Jonah's gonna sit towards the back of the carriage and just sort of watch the bird as they fade away.
Okay. Continuing forward, after a few more hours, it does begin to get dark.
Do I have an idea of how close we are, or?
You're not entirely certain. You were pretty out of it during the train ride, so you don't really know how much ground you've covered. None of you probably really know how much ground you've covered. But you know you're on the right track.
I would like to go check on Luther. Say, how are you feeling, darling? You all right? You need anything?
Never better.
Now, come on. Are you feeling any different? Don't lie to me. I'll know.
Not any different since yesterday.
All right. Well, that's good.
Or was
That's
it earlier today? Yeah. Earlier today. I don't know. It's kind of all blended together right now.
You got to promise you're not going to keep it to yourself. We're here to help you, and we mean to do that. All right?
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then I kind of like grit my teeth and just kind of.
All right. As the sun goes all the way down and darkness does surround you.
Well, I'd say, is there like moonlight where I could see, or I would definitely slow down before it became pitch black. I wouldn't.
Right. Yeah, you would slow down. There is moonlight that occasionally is covered by clouds. You kind of hear a very, very, very distant rumbling. There's probably a storm somewhat nearby. You don't think it's too threatening to your area. There aren't clouds covering the sky or anything around you, but they do occasionally cover the moon where you have to slow down just a little bit more. But you do, all of you are exhausted.
And I'm assuming the horses probably are pretty.
Yeah, you hear them.
Tired.
You hear them huffing and.
I would turn. Yeah, I would. Sorry, I would definitely turn back to the crew and be like, unless we want to kill these horses, we may have to take a break, friends.
Just anything, but
Okay, if you're feeling all right,
do we have that kind of time?
I'm nervous about it.
I have no idea.
I mean, I don't like wasting this time. We got to get you to St. Louis.
I don't know if these horses will make it to St. Louis. Should I make like a riding roll or something? Would that like some sort of animal husbandry or?
You would know they've been working pretty hard for consecutive hours. Even just a little break would probably be helpful. Even if they just had some time to rest and drink and eat.
All right.
Yeah, these horses need a break. So I'm sorry, everyone.
Okay.
I don't want two innocent horses' deaths on my conscience right now. I got a lot going on.
Hey, listen, better a short break now than these horses breaking down on us and we have to walk. So
That's true.
Yeah, I slow the cart down. Immediately get off and start tending to them. However,
Okay. Yeah, they are
that
just
means.
covered in sweat, and you unhook them, pull them away. They are huffing. They are just making all kinds of noises, and they seem very thankful that they get a break. They're stepping off. Are we setting up some sort of camp, or are we just taking a little break? What's the plan?
definitely taking a little break. I'd like to sort of walk around in like a wide arc just to make sure, just to get the lay of the land, make sure there's
Okay.
no one else around. That's it.
Is there firewood in this cart?
Yeah, there'd probably be a little bit of leftover camp supplies.
I would like to take some of the smaller, pieces of wood and start whittling another steak. I've got
Sure.
one, but it probably would
Sure.
be good for us all to have one. Just in
Do I
case.
see her doing that?
Absolutely.
I'd say, what are you getting one for me? I kind of
No,
chuckle.
this is not for you, baby.
What's Jonah doing?
I think I'm gonna do whatever I can to help Luther care for the horses, and that's mostly to get him off his feet, which I'm sure he's going to fight me on, but I do my best to be by his side.
Okay.
You know, Luther, if we can get this break over with, we can get some light on the road. We can go pass through. We could be there before dawn even starts.
I understand. I just don't want to lose our one last chance of getting there.
Yeah. I understand, but I also don't want to lose our. I want to lose our one last chance. I don't want you to. Listen, you have this tendency to jump in front of every bullet, despite its direction. I don't want you to do that more times than warranted.
I understand. And I put my hand on his shoulder. We'll get through this, man.
Luther, what if we don't?
Don't. I don't want to hear that talk. I don't want to hear that talk. We're gonna get through this.
Right. Okay. If you okay, sure. Yeah, fine. You're stubborn as fuck, and when you die, I will remember you as such, okay?
Please do.
Just tell me if it starts to get bad. I watched that woman. I saw her. At one point she stopped talking and I knew, but by then it was too late.
Look, man. I had some weird dreams on the train. They weren't good. But so far I'm doing okay. I mean it's taken longer than how long it took her.
Dreams? Dreams?
Yeah, like, dream about teeth and such. It was not good. I'd rather be awake, frankly.
Okay, well, you keep us updated. I'm gonna
get
back to tending to the horses, and he goes up very cautiously to one, and it like sneezes, and he jumps back like 6 feet. Oh, you just fucking sit, okay?
We're like, don't worry about her. That one I call Thunderbolt. The other one's Lightning.
They're both demons, if you ask me. Look at their eyes. They're dead. They're like dolls.
Beautiful, beautiful dolls.
I'll just help him out with all that.
Okay, I'll go ahead and give you both a Benny for that scene. So, it is completely dark. You are all exhausted. We are taking a little break for the horses. We'll say, how long do you want this break to last?
I mean, what's like the minimum that the horses could, you know what I mean? Like, I guess that would be the...
I mean, you could probably make it work with 30 minutes, but you should probably maybe do an hour if you want to be safe.
I would advocate for an hour. Everyone, we should spend just one hour here. And...
I'm following your lead on this, darling. You got to tell us how you feel, though.
All right.
It's
Is anybody?
But I would hate to burn out the horses, so 1 hour sounds good to me.
I would like to sing a song to try to heal my companion's spirit. Because I'm a singing cowboy. I mean, that's what I do. So without guitar support, unfortunately, I begin singing a song that sounds a little probably unfamiliar to everyone here, but it starts with if I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me? For I must be traveling on now, because there's too many places I've got to see. And then it kind of leads into the chorus where I say that I'm a free bird. Can I make a performance check then?
Yes, go for it.
Okay. All right. I mean, without my guitar, it doesn't have the same impact, I understand. Oh, well, it is a success, a 4 and a 2. I'm going to take the 4, and then I get a +1 to performance, so that's a 5.
So as he is singing this song, all of you are just listening, and it's not the same with the guitar, but without the guitar, but there's this feeling and this almost eeriness that kind of goes along with it while he is singing this song. And as he goes into the chorus, right as he's finishing up the chorus, you hear just the distant cawing of a crow.
Our friend is back.
Well, that was a real good song, Luther. I feel like it's catchy and people would request that wherever you go.
Thank you. I just had the courage to try it out now.
But I don't want to disrespect you because I liked it a lot, but I do think I'm a little worried about that crow now.
I was singing about a bird, maybe I just liked it.
That's true.
I'm also going to give you a Benny for that.
Thank you.
It was a good song, Luther. And Matthias is gonna stand up and I might go stretch my legs a little bit, take a look around, and probably go and look for that crow.
Okay. You're looking around. It's really dark. You're not really able to spot the crow anywhere, especially the further away you get from the group. About an hour passes by. We getting loaded up again, getting ready to head out.
Yep.
Yeah. Time to get going.
Yeah, I would definitely check on the horses and see how they're doing, and then start putting them back onto the cart.
Okay. Yeah, they seem better now that they've had some time to actually rest, and you get them hooked back up. As Matthias, as you're heading back to the group to load up into the cart, tauntingly you hear the calling of a crow coming from the area you were just looking, very taunting. And you just kind of glance back and then hop into the cart. Are any of you using this evening to rest at all as the cart is beginning its trek once again?
I am, for sure.
Okay.
I would like to.
Kick back in the cart, maybe pull out an old and weathered copy of Hoyle's Book of Card Game Rules and flip through.
Sure.
I'm gonna stay up front with Luther. I'm also going to leave a little like buffalo nickel behind at the carriage. Wherever I think the crow was in direction, I'll just flip it in that direction.
Sure.
But for sure, I'm staying up with Luther.
Yeah, and if I'm fine with driving the cart for now, I would continue to do so. Otherwise, I would hand the reins over to Jonah if I start feeling weird or whatever.
Yeah, I'll say, considering your situation, I'll have you make a vigor roll.
That is very fair. Let's see here. That is a total of a 3.
Okay. I will say after a few hours, you do feel your eyes trying to shut. You feel like you probably just need a little nap.
And in my internal, dialogue here, it's my friends have kept saying to tell them when I need help, and I reluctantly, with like almost through gritted teeth, I just kind of shove the reins over to Jonah. I don't even say anything. Just
lean your head back.
Yeah, kind of do the old put the head on the eyes thing.
Okay.
And he grabs them, not before.
Right. All right. So you close your eyes and let yourself kind of have some rest. Jonah, it's silent for a while, maybe an hour, maybe almost 2. You just hear the sound of the wagon wheels turning and bumping against the ground and the rocks, and your friends are sleeping. Luther beside you, leaning back against the cart, and the other 2 in the cart, in pretty comfortable positions actually. And as you're looking off, you see up above you where the clouds no longer cover the moon, you see just a crow flying by, and you just hear the slightest cawing. A few minutes later, you hear it again, and it's a little closer. You can see it's closer. It's kind of drifting in front of the wagon. Not quite close enough for the horses to be bothered by it, but it's just coasting. And you hear it caw again, and the caw sounds kind of like a cough almost. It's a heavy caw, not quite as clear and crisp as they have been, and then you see it kind of trail off and disappear in the darkness again.
Did that last cough sound familiar to me in any way?
I'll say no. And it was like if you were combining like the cawing of a crow and someone's cough just together. Just something wasn't right about it. Luther, you thought your dreams were bad before.
Oh boy.
Laying here, you're in. You know you're dreaming. There's not even a moment where you're questioning it. You know that you're dreaming, but you cannot wake yourself up. And you just see over and over again, you take the hat from your face and your face has changed. You have sunken eyes and you open your mouth to speak to Jonah, and it's just a piranha-like teeth. And as you open your mouth to talk to him, he looks over at you, asking you what's wrong. And all you can do is lunge forward and just go for that vein right in his neck. Doing so, you push him off the car. The horses start going crazy, but you don't even care about them. You just look at your friends in the cart and you just jump in. They're sleeping. They don't even know. You have the perfect opportunity, and you can feel just the blood on your chin and your teeth dripping off your lips. And the moment you think the dream is ending, it starts over. And it's just happening over and over and over again. Your body aches. You can't move. It hurts to move your joints. Like something is clamping them in the same positions. And when you try to move them, it's just this creaking pain that just shoots through you. You feel the pain behind your eyes. You feel the pain in the back of your throat. Your gums are just searing and burning. Jonah, you're used to this. You see Luther, at first he's just mumbling something under his breath, and then you see him start to kind of move a little bit, and then there's a moment where he just starts thrashing wildly, and a brief moment where he is in danger of falling off the cart, but prepared for that, you kind of reach over and steady him a little bit, but he's not stopping. He's just thrashing around.
Yeah, you would know, sorry to interrupt, but you would know that I have night terrors, but this is probably different than like what you've seen before.
Yeah. I know that this is how he usually sleeps. I also know he's going to need as much rest as possible before we get to St. Louis, but I am worried for myself. I'm going to cast Barrier on myself. Or not Barrier. Armor on myself. Just, I place a card and I tuck it into my lapel.
Okay.
Just worried for my own safety with him so close. And I'm going to keep more of an eye on him than the road, splitting my time, but he obviously gets more of the ratio.
Sure.
So I have a raise on my wild die. So an 8 total. So it grants me 4 points of armor.
Okay. Noted. Do you sleep at all?
No, I stay awake.
Okay.
We both have bad dreams, and he's got to get to St. Louis.
All right. So I will say going into this next day, you are going to have 1 level of fatigue.
Right.
That is a -1 to all trait rolls.
Got it.
And before morning approaches, like you can feel it in the air, and it's probably the sun.
When
probably...
I wake,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. When I wake up, do I like? Am I waking up on my own, or am I still in this cycle?
You're still having these dreams over and over, and
Okay.
during this time
Right.
too, Jonah, it comes in waves. Like he'll be thrashing around a little bit, and then you'll see him fall still for a solid maybe 15 minutes, and then he'll thrash around a little bit again. You're just keeping an eye on him, making sure he stays on the cart. And while it's still dark, Luther is still and silent for the time being. You hear the fluttering of wings, and you see the crow land in front of you, like basically where the horses are hitched onto the cart itself, lands there in front of you, looking at you almost expectantly. And it kind of cocks its head a little bit, and you hear it caw with that same cough. It caws again, and you hear something lodged in its throat, and as it kind of flaps its wings a little bit, it caws one more time, and you see something come out from its beak. It comes out, and it's playing card. And the back is facing you, so you can't see what the face is. And it's just...
I think he's staring down at this crow and sort of knows that maybe this is for him, and slowly takes the card. He
right.
does reach back into his wallet and gives another coin to the crow.
All right, so as you reach forward, you take the card from its mouth, it lets go, kind of hold a little coin out towards it. You flip the card over, Ace of Spades, and then your attention falls from the card back to the crow as its wings flutter again, and you hear it fly off. And as it's flying, something glistens. You catch something. There's some sort of thread hanging from its foot. And as it flies further, as you realize what it is, it pulls taut. And it's attached to your shirt, your chest. Looking down, you kind of reach for the button. You think maybe the thread is hooked to the button, and you unbutton the shirt, and your stomach lurches and your heart sinks as you see the thread is connected to the very center of your chest. And underneath your skin, you feel a yank at your rib cage as the thread pulls harder, and as you look up at the crow again, you see a tall, thin figure standing where the crow once flew off. He has that same twisted smile that you know all too well. And he reaches and grabs onto the thread, and he yanks. You are pulled off of the cart. Pulled off. No moment to even try to fight this at all. Pulled off and land hard on the ground. The horses are still walking. Luther, I'm gonna have you make a notice roll with a -3. Actually,
Oh boy.
I'm gonna make that
All
a
right.
negative. I'm gonna make that a -1 because I feel like you're not sleeping too soundly right now, so your odds of hearing it might be a little better. So I'll say -1.
All right. Okay, that's a failure, but I'm gonna spend a Benny. And we'll see how this goes. See, I rolled all my good rolls in the beginning. That's a failure, but I'm gonna spend a Benny and then see how this goes. See, I rolled on repeat here.
That tricked me first.
Son of a bitch! You guys would not believe this. I rolled 2 3s 3 times in a row.
Oh no.
Like literally, should I spend my last Benny? I'm gonna leave it up to the group.
I mean, I've got bennies to spare. I can give you.
Okay. Okay, all right. That is crazy. So maybe that's a good omen.
Yeah.
I'm just having a hard time waking up.
Yeah. So my end result was a 2 3 times in a row apparently.
So you're saving your last penny?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you tell me right now I'm gonna die if I don't.
Jonah might.
Oh.
Could I spend a Benny to notice?
Maybe he just wants to talk.
I'll let you spend a Benny to make a notice roll.
That sounds good.
If you get 2 3s, I'm gonna lose my mind.
That's a 9 altogether.
Okay. So there's this sudden lurch from the cart as it just kind of rocks a little bit from the momentum of Jonah being yanked from this cart. You wake up and you immediately feel a tingling on the back of your neck. And you know exactly where to look. You know exactly where to look. And as you sit up and you look over, you see Jonah kind of rolling on the ground from being pulled off. And you see the tall, thin man standing, kind of silhouetted at the clouds. And before you can do anything, you see this. And as you go to stand up, you feel a yank at your chest. And you look down and you see a thread piercing into your skin, and as you're kind of tugging and realizing it's attached to you, this is not attached to your clothing, this is literally attached to you. And as you're realizing this, you look up and the thin man with one arm stretched out towards you and one towards Jonah yanks, and you are pulled out of this carriage, slamming down onto the ground. Now I will have Willie make a notice roll.
Oh my fucking god. Okay.
You gotta science this guy.
I know. I got a 4 and a 5.
Okay. Yeah, with that feeling, it makes a little more noise too. Like Matthias, there wasn't really a place to be pulled out of the cart, but they made one. Matthias was pulled, a little bit of wood kind of splintered off in an area, and as his body hits the ground, your eyes shoot open and you see the wood just splintered from where he was yanked out. Looking over to your left, you see Luther just passed out. He kind of even like falls over to a laying position to take the place where Jonah was sitting. And at that, I will say, Willie, you do not see the thin man.
Can I see the string on their attached to them?
You just see Jonah and Matthias. They seem to have jumped off almost. Like you just see them rolling on the ground from exiting this cart. I will say, Jonah and Matthias, you are able to kind of stand up, both of you in a standing position. You see the thin man's just tall silhouette stretching out before you. He transfers both of your threads into the same hand with the long fingers. He holds them as he materializes a deck of cards in his other hand. They look ancient and blood-stained, even from this distance, as the thread seems to tug you closer, inch by inch, slowly. And you hear his voice. The time has come to collect your souls. And he mostly looks towards Jonah and then kind of cocks his head towards Matthias. Debts must be paid. Draw your hand. And at this point, I will have both of you make a gambling roll. Willie, what are you doing in this moment?
So
you've just seen them stand up. Yeah.
So I am going to try to shake Luther awake, and if it doesn't work, I'm going to try to rein in the horses so they stop first. And I'm just going to yell to him, "Look alive! We got 2 crows out of the nest!"
All right, I will say, as she is shaking you awake, Luther, your eyes do open, and there's just this moment where your eyes open and you see Willie kind of climbing over to try to grab onto the reins, and there's just this moment where the neck is a little exposed, and then it's played over and over and over in your mind, and so it seems natural to just no, and you regain your composure, your own ability to think. And while that was tempting for a moment and a little concerning, her words are playing in your head. What, 2 birds from the what? You're kind of still dazed and sitting up, and you realize Jonah's not up here.
Do I notice that kind of change in his eyes or anything like that?
I'm gonna say no, just because you're reaching for the reins to try to get the cart to stop.
Sure.
And you do so. You grab onto the reins and kind of pull them back. The horses come to a stop, leaving Jonah and Matthias only probably like 60 feet behind you.
All right, I hop down.
Okay.
And start to, since I didn't see anything else, I just go to see what's wrong.
Okay. Jonah and Matthias, what were your gambling rolls?
So I had a 15 minus 1 is 14.
I rolled a 5.
Okay, let me see here. I'm pretty sure, so 7 cards, and then I think with a success you'll get 6 cards. And then you can go ahead and make your poker hand with that. All right, so the Thin Man says, draw your hand, and your cards just materialize in your hand. You kind of shuffle them in your own fingers, and then suddenly only the amount you're able to draw is left. And you see him smiling, just that big grin that stretches up ear to ear, and reveal your hand.
What is that, 2 aces? It's a little blurry.
Yes.
Come on, Caleb, you're gonna pull up an awesome hand, right?
It's a weird hand. I have a joker and a pair of queens.
Okay.
Oof.
Okay. So, after the hands are revealed, you see the Thin Man's smile falter just a little bit. His eyes squint. Jonah, what would you like to do in this moment?
I think at first I play coy because this really is a game and Jonah loves a game. Puts down the 6, the 8, the ace. Well, it appears I don't have enough to play with you. Well, I got a pair of queens. Well, I have this. And he holds up the joker and he holds it close. I'd like you to go away from here now.
Would you like to attempt to do anything with that joker in your hand there?
Yeah. Let's go with an old faithful from session 1. I'd like to banish him.
Okay. All right. And that entails dealing with the devil, correct?
Yes. If that didn't count for deal with the devil, then yeah, I'd have to do it again.
Okay, so how this works is you think back to that banishment spell, and as you reach to pull your cards up, you pull them up, and then you feel the little yank on your rib cage as you're kind of pulled forward just a little bit, and you just see him grinning, and he cocks his head and he looks down at you and he says, "You didn't think I'd let you do that, did you?"
Fault the gambler for trying.
At this moment, Luther, you are awake, and Willie, you have stopped the cart. You've gotten off. You're heading in their direction. You see both of them looking at the same place, but every time you look, you don't see anything there. What would the two of you like to do?
So
you go, please.
I'm gonna keep going until I reach them, and I'm seeing them looking, and I assume their facial expressions look scared.
Yeah, they're probably pretty pale at this point.
So I'm gonna try to look in the direction that they're looking, and when I see that there's nothing that I can see there, I'm just gonna say, "Hey, you two, what's going on?"
Okay. Luther?
Like, I wake up, and there's all this insanity going on, and I see my best bud and my new bud off the cart, and then Willie's running after them. I'm trying to make sense of everything. And I yell to Willie, I say, it has to do something with their card tricks and whatnot. It's that supernatural garbage. I don't know anything about it.
We don't have time to play games. We got to go.
I don't know how to help them. And I guess I just out of desperation, I would put both arms around Jonah and then try to drag him back to the cart.
Okay. Go ahead and make a strength roll.
And then, right, and I'd be yelling too, Jonah, got no time to fool around right now.
Wait, you can't disrupt the game.
Whoa! Critical failure, 2 1s.
Checks out.
That's awesome.
So he was kind of sort of wanting to fight you. Anyways, as you wrap your arms around him, he kind of puts a hand out, and you're still dazed, you're still woozy, you're actually kind of dizzy. And as he puts a hand out, you take a couple steps backwards and you actually kind of fall over from how quickly you were up and how dizzy you are anyway. You fall over and you're just sitting there on the ground looking at him. He hasn't even turned to look at you. He's still just staring in the same direction. Hucksters, make another gambling roll.
Luther, you don't understand. I can't stop. If we stop, he's too powerful for any of us.
Who?
Him. I have a 15, minus 1 is a 14 again.
Damn.
7 cards again for you.
Also a 14.
7 cards for you. So just so we are aware, I spent one of my bennies to redraw the card.
Oh, come on.
Is that a thing we can do also?
Yeah, one benny to discard 1 card and draw another.
I will do so.
Okay.
You know what? I'll do the same.
Sure. All right. So, as the Thin Man's first hand disappears, and you see him just pull up another one and look, you draw your hand. What do you have?
I have a pair of 8s with a king and a queen.
I have 2 pair nines, and jacks, and the other joker.
Wow.
Okay. The thin man smiles and turns his hand for you to see. A straight. You see as he fans them, the Joker card, as he flicks it, turns into the card he needed to make that hand, and he smiles, and as they disappear, you hear the cawing of hundreds upon hundreds of crows. And as you look up, the skies darken as the crows are just spinning around and around and around, and then they dive bomb. I will have Jonah and Matthias make an agility roll for me.
Can we see these crows, Carrie?
No.
Oh, God.
Just shoot blindly at them.
So what were the agility rolls?
I have a 7.
I have a 6.
All right. What are your toughness?
4.
Also 4.
Okay. So these crows dive down, and Luther and Willie, you just see Jonah and Matthias like slam onto their knees and cover their heads. And Jonah and Matthias, you feel the feathers, the birds just slamming into you, beaks pecking. None of them are able to get any good hits on you, but you do feel scratches on your skin, and you feel them just slamming in. You're able to kind of cover your head enough to where they can't quite get you. I will also now have both of you make a vigor roll for me.
That's a 7.
Okay. So you both feel this looming sense of dread and fear kind of creeping into your mind, but you're not letting it overcome you at this time. Luther and Willie, you see them duck down, taking cover from something you are not able to see or hear. You just hear them shouting and like grunting as these crows are slamming into them, but you don't see any crows.
Can we see them getting bloodied?
Yeah, you see various scratch marks, and you see them like reacting like they're being hit by something, but you just don't see what they are.
I think I'm at first going to kind of reflexively do the same posture as if something's coming for all of us, but then when I notice that nothing's happening to me and I can see them getting hurt, I'm going to try. In my mind, Matthias was closer to me, so I'm going to try to go over to him and see if I can try to pull him away.
Right, and I instinctively, because I don't know nothing about this supernatural hornswoggle or anything, I would react like they were on fire, and I would try to grab like a blanket out of the cart and like maybe wrap Jonah around in the blanket to like, I don't know, just try to stop it somehow.
I will also say at this moment, all of you are able to see a little glisten, just a little. It's almost like, you know, when like a car drives by and the sun just reflects for a moment. It's sort of like that. You see a little reflection, a little light, but as you look, there's nothing there. But you see it in the same place that Matthias and Jonah are staring off at. So you kind of know a general location, but you still have no idea what they're looking at. You can't see anything. And at this, Jonah and Matthias make another gambling roll.
An 18 minus 1 is a 7.
That's a
7
10.
cards. Actually, I can't remember. Let's see here. Yeah, that's 7 cards as well.
Flush and a pair of 3s.
Okay.
And I'm gonna flush his spades with the black joker.
Nice.
I will say, his smile fades, almost like sags for a moment, and then his cards disappear. What would the two of you like to do? I'm giving you an action. How this has worked is, whoever wins the hand gets to have the action that turn. But since the two of you both did pretty close to the same, I'm gonna let you both act. So, what do you do? The crows seem to have disappeared, or they still seem to be kind of swirling up, and the cawing is still in your ears, but you're no longer being like dive bombed by them.
I think that I'm going to take either the Joker from last hand or the Ace of Spades that was given to me, whichever I think has the most power. I'm going to prime it in my hands, fold it over the string in my chest, and cast Bolt as hard as I can. I'm going to expend extra power points to try and burst that connection to me. And in the meantime, I'm going to look up to him. I have been good to you. I have played by your rules. I have played your game, and I will continue to. I owe you nothing. Blast on top of that.
All right. Before you do that, I'm gonna have you make a spirit roll.
Okay. I have a 7.
Okay. There's a moment where you grab onto the thread that's attached to your chest, and as you're attempting to channel this power through the card, you can feel that power being siphoned through the thread to the Thin Man. You get the feeling, while this is attached to you, you don't think you're going to be able to cast. But your hands are still clamped around this thread. Is there anything you'd like to do instead?
Take out my Bowie knife and I'll cut it.
Okay. Go ahead and make a strength roll.
A 5.
Okay. So, thinking this for a moment, you take your hand off, reach over, grab your Bowie knife, bring it up, put the blade against the thread, and you kind of put your thumb up against it and slice. And as you do, you feel as if a bullet just slammed through you. You feel this gaping wound in your chest. You are going to take 1 unsoakable wound from this, but you feel as this is sliced and this hole is sort of just slammed into you, you feel a freedom that you haven't felt in a really long time. And the wound kind of makes you fall down onto your hands and knees again. But as you're breathing, I mean, you feel like that thread has been there for a long time, even if you haven't seen it. And it is finally severed. And you just look up at the Thin Man. Matthias, what are you doing?
I see Jonah struggling with this cord, and I'm here with Jonah and with the Thin Man. And the only thing I can think of is back yesterday, we were in the hospital. I made Jonah that promise. I'm gonna do the only thing I can do. I'm gonna grab Jonah by the shoulder while he's struggling, and I'm going to use the last 2 power points that I have to cast armor on him.
Okay. As you grab onto her shoulder and pull him back, you attempt to cast. And as you do so, you feel the cards. Are your cards in your pocket or your hand right now?
In my hand.
In your hand. You feel the cards burn with this searing pain that's not quite fire, but it's this burning. And you feel the spell almost backfire into your hand, through your arm. You almost feel like this, like you got struck by lightning. You just feel this surge of electricity, and it does. There's this visible spark between you and Jonah, and the spell does not take effect. And you still have your power points.
What are you doing? Matthias, we gotta sever it. We gotta cut it. We gotta get you free. We gotta go.
Willie and Luther.
Do I hear him say that?
Yes. You have heard all of this. You have seen Jonah reach up with his knife and cut something that's not there. You have seen him suddenly fall down to his hands and knees. You saw the spark of electricity between Matthias and Jonah, but that's it. You're missing a pretty important piece of the puzzle, but you're able to at least see what's going on between the two of them.
After hearing Jonah say that, I would take my boot knife and try to put it in Matthias's hands.
Okay. Sure. So there's the spark of electricity. As you pull away from Jonah's shoulder, Luther just reaches over, holding onto the blade, just putting the handle, the hilt of the knife in your hand for you to hold on to. Willie, are you doing anything?
When I see Jonah clutch his chest where he got hurt, I run over and I look, and can I see a wound?
Oh yeah, there is probably like a quarter-sized hole in the center of his chest right now. It's just bleeding.
So I am gonna take out this like little vial, and I'm gonna pour it on as I cast healing. And I'm imagining it's kind of like Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade, and it just kind of like bubbles up and then the skin looks good again.
All right, so I will say I'll say the button is probably still unbuttoned from when you were checking to see where it was attached. So the shirt is unbuttoned, so you have a good view of this wound. So you just run up, pull something out of your bag, go ahead and make that healing roll.
Okay. Got an 8 and a 4.
Okay, either way, it's a success. So Willie runs over, like slams down onto her knees right beside you, pulls this vial out of her bag and pours it, and you think it should hurt just how it's bubbling, and you can hear the bubbles just bloop, 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 like just popping as it's coming up out of this wound, like the worst peroxide you've ever seen in your life. And as it's bubbling, you feel like an itch as the skin is beginning to grow new skin cells and just stitch itself back together.
Willie, I appreciate it, I do, but you gotta keep your distance. If you get too close, the sin can take you too. We gotta get Matthias free. It took our powers. We gotta go.
Okay. We've got enough visible enemies. I don't need to worry about any more invisible ones. I'm not gonna ask you what that thing was or what happened, but I am gonna ask you if that's gonna happen again.
I don't know. We can talk about it after.
All right. Willie totally drops her like facade of being cheeky and just really like helps him up.
Okay.
And keeps a hold on him as they start walking back.
All right. Matthias, I'm gonna have you make a gambling roll.
It's a 9?
7 cards. And then make your hand for me.
queen high. Queen jack.
All right.
10 of 7.
All right, so you show your hand, and in this moment, you can't hear or see anything else around you. It is just you and the Thin Man. And you can hear your breathing echo as if you were in like an empty, solid chamber of some sort. You just hear it echo. You realize it's not an echo, it's almost muffled, but like echoing in your ears. And you look around and you see wood on both sides of you, and you see wood in front of you, and there's a moment where you realize you're in a coffin. And you start pounding on the wood in front of you. The rest of you see him just slamming his fist into nothing. You're pounding on the wood. You feel the walls closing in, and Jonah, you're the only one that can see this happening. You also see the Thin Man standing there, and you see him turn his hand towards you with a blush. And the Joker card, you see its eyes glow red. And you see the earth below Matthias open up and begin to spin and spin, and you see it clamping onto Matthias's legs, moving up, grabbing him, pulling him down into the earth. Matthias, you feel like you're being crushed. This coffin is closing in on you. I will give Luther, Jonah, and Willie one reaction to this.
I'm at a loss of what to do. I mean, from my perspective, because I'm not seeing everything that Jonah's seeing, am I seeing him get sucked into the earth?
Yeah, you are all seeing the earth opening up and tearing him down.
I grab onto him, I mean...
I'm gonna run up and take the Bowie knife to his string as far as I can find it and cut through the best I can.
Okay, Willie, what are you aiming to do? You're muted still.
Sorry, I had it muted just because I could hear my son yelling for me, and I was afraid he was going to ruin that moment. So when I see the other two kind of like run over, I'm going to go, and if, Luther's grabbing him by one side, I'm going to try to get the other arm to try to pull him back out.
Okay.
And we're about 60 feet away from the cart?
Give or take, yeah.
Do I know if there's any rope in there?
There'd probably be rope.
I think I have this second thought where I'm like, maybe I can go tie a rope to the cart and then come and try to get it around his body. So,
all right, so
I see I'm not very strong, so I kind of give up on pulling and I just go try to get a rope from the cart.
All right, Willie takes off for the cart. Luther and Jonah, you dive towards Matthias as the earth has pulled him almost to his waist deep, pulling him down further and further. You see, as you run over Luther, go ahead and make... I'm gonna have you make an athletics.
All right. Yeah, I say, don't worry, buddy. We got you. We're not gonna let you get sucked into no hellhole. And I have 2 and a 1. I am going to spend my remaining Benny and try to help my friend. I'm gritting my teeth. Oh, that's better. A 3 and a 5, so a 5.
Okay. Jonah, I'm gonna have you also I'm gonna have you make a strength roll. I didn't hear you if you were talking.
I have a 4.
Okay. All right, so Willie, you have sprinted over to this cart. You kind of shove through various things that you've seen, the few scraps of wood that you're pushing through, and you find the little coil of rope. You grab onto it, you tear it from the cart, and you begin sprinting back towards the group. Jonah and Luther, Luther has his arms around Matthias, and the earth is still just pulling him further and further in. Matthias, you can't breathe. It's like you want to hyperventilate, but no breath is getting to your lungs. You're suffocating. How long have you been in this coffin? How long have you been in this coffin? And there's this moment where you realize there's no air left. There's none. There's no air. And as you're being pulled further and further down into the ground, Jonah, you reach forward. You are able to sever this thread. And I'm going to ask you, Luther. As Matthias's body is being pulled beneath the top layer of this earth, how far are you willing to follow and hold on?
In my mind, I'm like, I see what Jonah's doing?
You saw Jonah cut something that you can't see in thin air.
I also, just to explain, I have a hindrance called Code of Honor, so I keep my word, and I just told him that I was gonna get him out of here, so I'm holding on.
Okay.
And I also kind of consider myself already dead anyway.
All right, so you are holding on. Willie, you are rushing up as you see the top of Matthias's head be sucked underneath the earth. Luther's arms, he's elbow deep in this weird sinkhole of sorts as he's holding on. You're holding on to him. You still feel him. You still have him clutched in your hands. Matthias, any light that had been coming through this coffin fades. It's gone. It's dark. It's pitch black. And you close your eyes for a moment and you can hear your lungs just straining to breathe. You kind of hear this sharp inhale as you're just trying to get breath. You feel dizzy. And as you open up your eyes again, you see a figure standing with you. And as you sort of instinctually go to speak, it comes forward into the light and you see the thin man's wide smile as he reaches out and he grabs your throat. And he says, "One down." He squeezes the life from you. Luther, you still have a hold of him. And whatever was happening with the earth has stopped and it's fallen still. Willie,
Am I still holding on to him?
you are, yeah.
Is it a case where he's completely stuck, or could I pull him out?
It would probably take some pulling and digging to get him out from the ground.
What about myself?
You yourself, if you pulled hard enough, you could get your arms out, yeah.
And I feel like a slack, right? Like I feel like the person I was holding on to suddenly just stops, right? Like if I let go, I'm not gonna feel like I've let go to let him die.
If I had to put a percentage to it, you're probably 60% sure that.
If I'm only 60% sure, as I'm trying to still pull back upwards with him, because I don't want to be wrong on this.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna start digging. And I see his arms in the dirt. I'm just gonna start digging with like my dagger, whatever I can to try to tear up the dirt around him. My hands, whatever, trying to scoop up dirt to see if we can get to see him again.
All right.
On the other side, I'm digging as much as I can. Hey, he's fine. He's fine. We severed the strand. He's good. We just got to get him out.
Yeah, the two of you are digging, and with your digging and Luther pulling, you manage to get at least from Matthias's chest up, freed from the dirt, and you see just this look of fear on his face. And all of you now can hear the thin man's chuckle. And you look over and you see him standing. All three of you see him standing, and he says, "1 to go."
I quick draw on him and I shoot him.
Perfect.
Even if it does nothing.
I will let you make that roll, and then I'm gonna draw some action cards.
Okay. I spit out, like I coughed some dirt. So that's my shooting roll, right?
Correct.
I'm not gonna do Two Gun Kid because I'm just gonna say that I'm like, this is just an instinctual reaction. Jesus Christ. That's a 1, so it's a wide shot, probably because I've been in dirt and very upset.
Double ones?
No. Oh yeah,
Okay.
sorry. I only rolled. I'm so out of it because of the whole thing. I didn't roll my wild die. So that was a 1 on my shooting die. A 5 on my wild die. Oh.
That's better. Go ahead and roll that damage.
It's 2d6 plus 1, hey?
Yeah.
That's 2 6s, buddies.
Ooh.
That's okay. So that's, you guys keep track of the math. That's 2 6s. I got a 3 and another 6.
21.
And that's a 5.
26.
Plus the 1, right?
Plus 1.
So 27 total?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
I yell like, "Take that, you devil!"
All right. So just for the behind the scenes here, I've given the thin man wildcard status. So, you just did a good number on him. I was spending a Benny of my own to soak wounds, and I failed. So I spent another Benny, and I failed that one too. So took the wounds and took his bennies. So look at you go.
Wow.
Oh. And that's
Boom.
before the cards are dealt.
Yeah. He wasn't expecting it. He's looking down, he's smiling. He just got through with laughing and taunting Jonah, and your gun just comes up out of nowhere, puts a bullet straight through where his heart would be, and you see the smile fade, and then he does more of like this just sinister grin as he's looking directly at you. And we have...
It's gonna be great. I have 0 bennies left.
We have Luther,
Oh, awesome. Love it.
Jonah,
Oh, okay.
Willie, and the Thin Man. I have 0
Oh,
minis
I'm
left.
ahead of him by 1.
So I believe Willie has the Benny still given by Jonah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you do have 1. And then Jonah has 2 at my count.
And Luther, you
Okay.
said you've got none?
0.
I'll
Does
give
my
you-
card put me before Thin Man or after?
After.
After? Okay. I'm gonna. I don't know. I kind of want to save it in case I need it to if I miss. So. No, I'm gonna use it to redraw.
All right.
Sorry, Jonah, how many you got left?
I've got 2. I'm gonna give you 1, and then.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we're all in even playing ground. What about our death pact? We said one of us dies, we all die.
Oh my gosh, another 3. You're
Oh.
kidding.
Wait. No, that's the same one. I put it on top instead of on bottom.
Okay.
My apologies.
I was like, it's the exact same card.
Great
What are
luck.
the odds?
He drew the same card.
I put it on
Yeah.
the top instead of the bottom. This is actually what it'll be. Much better.
Nice. What is that? A queen?
It's an ace.
Oh, an
So
ace. Oh, nice.
You're up first.
All right. So Willie is just so spitfire and angry with what he just did to our friend. And she's freaking out and she just looks up at this thing that she can finally see for the first time. And now she knows why Jonah's been so afraid. And she just takes out her device, the subterfusion device, and she just lets all that ghost rock dust out right in his face, and she lights it on fire, and she says, "Burn, goddamn you!"
Oh man. Okay. I don't even know how to, I don't even know how to handle this except for to give you a Benny first of all.
Thank you.
Second of all,
I don't really know how to roll for damage for it because I've never done that before.
I don't really know what to do here either. How about we resolve that in a moment?
All right.
And we will switch over to Jonah.
Do I get the sense that I could use my cards? Like, do I feel any of the inherent magic that I usually do in them?
You do, and as you take your cards and as you pull them up, the faces no longer have the Thin Man on them.
Oh. Okay. I'll take that as a win. I'm first going to run as far as I can, and then I'm going to turn in the dirt. I'm going to call out to them. We got to get in the carriage. Oh, we can't stop. We can't. And I'll shoot one big blast his way.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And I think just in the heat of this moment, I'm thinking back to Matthias. I'm thinking back to when I first saw him cast, and the card itself shoots exactly like his deck used to. And I'll make an attack, I guess. God bless. Oh, I have a raise on the 12.
That's a bonus damage.
Yeah. An 18 to hit.
Yeah, that'll do it.
10, 12, and then here's my fourth. He takes 22 points of damage.
You got us all fired up.
Literally.
Okay, so here's what happens. Luther quick draws, just real quick, slams that bullet through his heart. He takes one step backwards, and then as he's bringing up his deck of cards, he is just pelted with ghost rock and ghost rock dust just all over him as Jonah takes off running, turns around, cast this bolt directly toward this thin figure covered in the ghost rock. You see it slam like lightning in a cloud. You see it slam into it and just light up, and the combination of that bolt and Willie lighting fire to this thing as the flame travels up the ghost rock through the smoke and onto the thin man. You see as the smoke all burns up and sort of collects around him, you see every inch of his skin burning on fire from this ghost rock, almost like the worst napalm. It just sticks and it will not come off of him. You see him smile entirely gone at this point. You see him thrashing around like spinning, trying to bat out the flames in different places. He's struggling. He's just long lanky legs are just up and down, kicking, trying to put himself into a place that's not hellfire. And as he's doing so, you see him fall to his knees, trying to pat out more of the flames, screaming. It is the worst scream you have ever heard. It echoes in the back of your mind, screaming and screaming until he finally just bursts into bigger flame, and then the flame goes out, and the thin man is gone.
Who the hell was that?
Dead now. Whatever the fuck that was.
We have to go. We have to get out of here. It's only a matter of time. He'll be back.
I
We
say-
have to go.
Jonah,
What about
Jonah, hang on.
Matthias?
But
Should we
yeah, is
Take him,
Matthias?
bury him?
He deserves better to be halfway in a hole out here.
I don't want to leave him out here either.
Okay.
So, I just grab a shovel or whatever, just start digging him out.
I'm not. We'll say he has it just for this. Matthias always carried just a little personal, like, small shovel on his back.
Oh yeah.
We'll say it is still there, and you're able to pull that from him and use that if you'd like.
Yeah. I'm just doing it really as fast as I can. Just enough to be able to pull the rest of them out, throw them on the cart, and then get the hell out of there.
Can do. Is there anything else anyone would like to do?
I'm just watching in every direction. It's only a matter of time before he comes back. He always comes back. He can't be gone. He's gonna come back.
We better get out of here then.
I think we heard him pretty good, but we gotta give our friend a proper burial. And, I load him up on the cart, and then get on and get the horses going if everyone else is okay to go.
Yep.
Okay.
And then, as we're going along, unless you have something else, Carrie, that
No, go for it.
I'll just say, I didn't know him well, but I say this. He was a stand-up hombre, and he was ace high with me. He had my back, and for that I'm grateful. And then I look up in the sky, and I'm like, rest well, my friend.
You're here.
He kept his promise.
Yeah, Willie is, she's been kind of cavalier about this adventure this whole time. Even with their friend having been bitten by a vampire, she's just so sure that everything's going to work out. And even despite everything that had happened, she really wasn't scared until now she's realizing that, like, they can die. So she's crying. Trying not to show it, but just sitting, kind of quietly crying.
I see how upset they are, and I go, hey, we beat him. I know we lost a friend, but that jackass, he can be beat. We beat him. And we're never gonna forget Matthias.
Jonah, Why could you and Matthias see him and we couldn't? Who is that, and how do you know he's going to come back? He looks incinerated to me.
He's been following me for longer than I can remember. That deck of cards that me and Matthias carry, it carries a lot more than just the powers that we have. The only reason we had those powers is because of that thing.
Oh.
It's a parasite. When I was young, I used to play tricks like I do now, like you know, Luther, like I always have. My father left me when I was young. I had to make ends meet, and one way was stealing and cheating and lying to get what I needed. But one day, a man comes up on me, side of the road, in from out of town, in from out of the wilderness, and he offers me this deal. I steal him a loaf of bread, I feed him for the night, and he gives me a deck of cards. Cards that he says can help me with my tricks, that can help me cheat at cards. I've been looking for a trick deck. I've been looking for something, anything that get me out of this horse shit town I was born in. And it's easier to say yes when you have nothing. And when I did,
I get it.
every night I see him. And every time I use these, he gets closer. And he got close.
He gets closer every time you use it. But yet you still have been using it to save a friend. That's pretty brave to me.
I appreciate that, I do. Me and Matthias, we said we were gonna stop him. I feel foolish,
I mean, maybe we didn't stop him all the way, but we sure put a hurt in him.
But you were like connected to him. And you broke it. Do you feel different?
I do. It's like something got lifted off of me. And the cards, they changed. I'll show the faces. They're just regular cards now. Usually
Maybe he's gone. But we gotta get out of here all the same.
Once everybody's kind of quiet, I'll just start like singing a song, and it's sad. And you know, it's about like, you know, it's not, it's more of a relationship song, but I'm trying to fit it into the feeling of like how we've lost somebody, you know, like that kind of feeling. And the lyrics are basically like, you know, you're always on my mind, you know, like we're you know, I'm always thinking about you, kind of a thing. So I'm using it to like sing a sad song, but also try to like deal with our feelings as we're just riding into the night.
That does sort of rouse Willie, and she kneels down on the floor of the cart while they're moving and takes out her kit and with water and some gauze and things from her first aid kit, and she just begins reverently like cleaning the dirt off of his face.
Yeah, Jonah's gonna lean down and find the cards that he still had in his hands. He's gonna shuffle the deck. He's gonna look for the ace of spades out of his deck, and then taking Matthias's ace of spades, he's going to fit it into the lapel of Matthias's jacket and pin it there with whatever sort of piercing agent he can find, and
Okay.
making sure that it's displayed prominently.
Done and done. And as you continue forward, the sun comes up, and it would have been such a beautiful morning. You watch the sunrise through the cart, and you watch it get higher and higher in the sky as you're continuing on. It's been a few more hours, and you see storm clouds rolling in the distance. A storm is coming. You'll probably have to take cover from it soon. It's nearing late afternoon now, and as you're continuing forward, kind of alternating between fast pace for the horses and like a slower pace, just to prevent having to give them so many breaks, and kind of letting the break be just casual walking. You are still following the tracks, and you hear the rumbling thunder in the distance from whatever storm is approaching. Matthias's skin has been cleaned, and you've been traveling in silence for a little while. Is there anything anyone would like to do?
I want to look up at Luther to see if I can detect any change in him, particularly his skin, or notice any signs that might have been similar to what we saw in the woman.
Make a notice roll.
Got 8.
Within just the past 4 hours or so,
Oh wait,
Luther's...
sorry, it exploded. I didn't do it again. I don't know if it matters. Plus 6, so 14.
Okay. Luther's skin is considerably paler. You can see his veins a little better underneath. Not that they're bulging necessarily, but the skin seems so pale and so thin that you can see the blue veins underneath. You didn't spend quite as much time with the woman in the hospital, kind of out doing other things, so you don't really have a way to gauge it necessarily, but he's definitely starting to look worse.
Okay. So upon noticing this, I will say to him, Luther, you don't look so good. How are you feeling?
So how am I feeling?
You kind of didn't even realize where you were for a moment until you heard Willie's voice say your name, and you kind of blinked. And as you blink, you kind of come out of whatever daze you were in, and you feel the heaviness in your lungs, and you feel the hunger, but not in your stomach. You feel it in your gums.
How far are we from St. Louis?
Go ahead and make a common knowledge roll for me. And I also sent you a message on Twitter.
I don't see it. Oh wait, there it is.
And then what's your common knowledge roll?
I was reading, sorry.
No worries, no worries.
I'm all aflutter. I only have a D4. I'm not really into book learning as much.
No worries.
Oh, that's a 4. That's
Nice.
nice. Oh, and also I have the D6. So that would have been a 5. And that's a 1. So it's a 5.
Okay. You're not 100% sure where you are. But you're pretty sure at this rate you would maybe get there tomorrow morning if you continue at this pace. You haven't given the horses a break in a while though.
My time is probably coming real soon. You have a choice. Let me get on this horse and ride like hell for that doctor, or you just take me out right now.
I immediately look over at Jonah to see what he thinks.
Luther.
I'm telling you,
What are you saying?
I'm telling you, it's gonna happen soon, and I have to get to that doctor right quick. I don't mean to say this in a mean way, but you're slowing me down a little bit. I feel like my only chance is just to go like a bolt of lightning.
All right.
You look me in the eyes and you tell me this is you. This ain't your bullshit code of honor, that this isn't you throwing yourself in front of another bullet. You tell me this is you.
I grab you by the shoulders and I say, I'm doing this for you, buddy. Otherwise, I'd just walk off into the desert right now. But if there's a chance, I'm taking it now. Unless you want to take me out with one of them spikes yourself.
Luther, I will see you in St. Louis.
Good. And I stop the horse. Oh, what?
Take this, and I give him one of the stakes. This is a contingency plan. I think you know what to do with it.
I take it, and then I grab a little scrap of paper from my bag and a piece of charcoal, and I write, use this on me if I'm not responsive. And I stick it like in my front pocket.
It's like a medical alert bracelet.
Yeah. And I unhook the horses. I don't like whatever I just don't take as much weight with me, you know, like it's just like the saddle, and you know, I leave all my equipment besides my pistols, and I'm just I take my hat off. I'll do that. I get like the hat off. Oh, you can't see it in the camera because it's deleting it. But I take my hat off. I kind of wave it around. The horse does the thing in the air.
Thing.
Where, you know? Yeah. And then I just ride like the wind.
Book it. All right. So Jonah and Willie, you watch as Luther just takes off. You hear the horse just galloping, just so hard, as fast as it can, as it just rides off ahead of you until finally the sound of the hooves fade. Paul, can I have you exit the call for the time being? Thank you.
So I think I sit there and watch the now empty horizon for a while after we can't see him, because I'm kind of scared to look over at Jonah. And then I finally do, and I put my hand on top of his hand and I just say, it's you and me now. Maybe I didn't trust you at first, but I sure do now. And he's going to be all right.
I appreciate that, I do. And if it has to be any of us, it might as well be us two. I'll do right by you, I promise.
I will too. Now, do you know how to get one horse to pull a cart?
I think I can. Luther taught me a little bit. I can give it a try.
All right.
And as you're turning your attention towards the horse again, you feel a little raindrop on your skin. Just one little drop of rain, and Luther probably would have fixed the horse to where it was centered enough to properly pull the cart for you. You take the reins, easy enough. The horse begins again, and you keep, as you're going, you're looking at the horizon, thinking maybe you'll get a glimpse of Luther ahead of you, but that never happens, and maybe that's a good thing. And as the rain begins to drop down a little bit quicker, maybe after 30 minutes or so, still just a light drizzle, you look over as you've come over a hill and you see a building, some sort of structure, probably wise to take cover. The clouds look pretty dark.
Well, I think, Willie, this is a sign of providence. Maybe a forgiveness for everything that the world has done to us in the last day. What do you think about stopping?
I think this is as good a place as any. I don't want to get stuck in the rain.
All right. Yeah, you pull the reins, the horse pulls off, and you begin heading towards this structure